What's up, fellow travelers? Abroad with the Burrells is back, and today we're talking about the island of
Santorini.
Santorini. Welcome to Abroad with the Burrells, a channel for travelers by travelers. My name is Coleman.
And I'm Jamie.
We went to Santorini and absolutely loved it.
Oh my goodness.
Words cannot describe how beautiful this place is. And the thing about it, before we went to Santorini, we were actually a little concerned just because it's been so overexposed. We were worried it would have been spoiled for us, and that wasn't the case at all.
No, the second we stepped off the plane, it was just jaw-dropping. It was so gorgeous. Everything we had anticipated, it just pushed beyond that even.
I'll tell you, it's a sight to see the whitewashed buildings on the cliffside, the blue domes, the island, even the island itself.
Right.
You know, just the way the vineyards grow, and even the side that's not on the caldera, which is on the cliffside, very beautiful. Just breathtaking to behold.
Any flowers we saw are just so bright and vibrant, right? I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. So we definitely enjoyed our trip, and it's somewhere that we're going to be going back to for sure.
Yeah, if it's on your bucket list, keep it on your bucket list.
Actually get there so you can cross it off your bucket list.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah, that's right.
So funny story, when we actually got to the airport, we were all excited because one of his bucket list items was to be picked up in a private car.
I've always dreamed about that.
So where they have they're waiting at the airport for us with a sign with our name on it. And we were newly married. We went there for our honeymoon. So, Mr. and Mrs. Burrell, we were all excited about it.
I just have this idea, luxury class, sunglasses, come off the airplane, get picked up. And then we get there to the airport, and the car was there. The driver was there. The sign was there, but it didn't quite go down exactly how we expected.
Oh, straight ahead, honey, straight ahead, Burrell. Straight ahead. Straight. Oh. Oh, it's Barrow! How you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
At the end of the day, we are in Santorini, so
no complaints.
It is what it is.
We kind of made a joke of it. The rest of the vacation, we just ran around calling ourselves Mr. and Mrs. Barrow.
Mr. Barrow.
So for starters, the common misconception about Santorini is that it's basically one big island, and there's one major city that you stay on the island. And we learned that's actually not the case.
So there's a ton of different areas you can stay in. The three ones that we wanted to make sure we got to were Imrovigli, which is where we were staying. We had done quite a bit of research and heard a lot of great things about it. The second one was Ia, which actually looks like Oya, but it's pronounced Ia. And then the third place was Fira.
So a little bit about those three areas, those three cities, and what it's like to stay in each one, and where should you stay.
Right.
So, number one, we'll start with Ia. It's the main city. It is the tourist hub of the island. And Ia is your area where you get your most iconic Santorini-like shots with the big blue domes, and you're gonna see the taxi donkeys, and that's where you'll go to get those. So the idea is to shoot these videos when Brooklyn takes a nap, and we can never make it through.
But she heard that we were filming and she got jealous.
So anyway, where were we? So yes, talking about Ia, it is the major city on the island and the tourist hub. They do have a major avenue that you can walk down, and they have tons of shopping on either side, a lot of stores that kind of sell knickknacks and doohickeys. And they do have the walk that'll eventually take you down to Amudi Bay. When you go to Ia, there's just a lot more to see and do.
Right.
Just kind of moving around on a day-to-day basis.
A lot of great restaurants though, and busy nightlife, if you're into something like that. Ia is very busy, but there's also a lot to do.
Right.
So. Oh.
Wow.
All right.
And so after a bottle, And a night's feeding, we got her back to sleep for now.
For now.
So picking up with Imrovigli, which is the next city in Santorini, it is actually polar opposite from Ia, in that it's a very quaint and very quiet place to stay if you're into that. And maybe you don't want the hustle and bustle of the busy town of Ia.
Yeah, for us, it was actually a little too quiet. You know, we'd go out to dinner and try to, you know, have a drink afterwards or something. Nothing too crazy, but we couldn't even do that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a ghost town. After about 8 or 9 o'clock, everything shut down. There wasn't much left for us to do there. Another thing about Imrovigli is it may not have those iconic blue domes to the degree that Ia has, but don't think that it's any less gorgeous. It really is. I mean, you still get the whitewashed buildings on the cliffside. I mean, it's beautiful in its own right.
And that's kind of anywhere on the island.
Right.
So in terms of beauty, don't be concerned with where you're staying on that. But, you know, just more the pace of the town is what we're thinking about right now. But then we stumbled upon Fira.
Fira, so that's the third major town and the option you'll have to stay in when you go to Santorini. And Fira for us was just perfect. The perfect blend between bustle and quiet.
Yes.
We loved it.
And so when we go back, which we will be going back, we plan on staying in Fira. Yeah. So like you said, it was busy enough so you felt, you know, the energy of the town. It didn't feel dead and deserted, but it wasn't too crazy. Like you could walk into a store and get help right away. You know, you weren't like shoulder to shoulder with people all the time. Lots of shops still, great restaurants, all the same stuff that we found in Ia, just without the major crowds. Really. On trip 2, we'll be staying in Fira, but on this trip we're talking about, we stayed in Imrovigli, like we said, and we stayed at the Precus Apartments.
Yes.
Now it's a smaller hotel, about 9 rooms. So, you know, on Facebook you'll see these gorgeous hotels with these infinity pools and very luxurious, and that wasn't Precus, but it was still very nice, very clean, great place to stay, affordable, beautiful views.
Yes, fantastic views.
And we actually were really lucky. It was our room, and then the pool, and then the water. And the staff there was super, super friendly, super helpful. Anytime we needed a reservation for anything, they were, you know, right there to assist us.
They also provided breakfast for us every day. So we had breakfast every morning out right by the pool overlooking the caldera. It was perfect.
Even when we arrived, remember, we get to our room, they brought our bags down all those stairs, and they're like, can we get you a glass of wine or champagne? So, you know, just free of charge and everything. So very accommodating. We had a beautiful stay there. But like I said, it wasn't one of those luxurious spots that, you know, you see on the internet. So, must-dos.
Must-dos.
On Santorini.
Yes.
Okay, number 1. You must rent a 4-wheeler.
Must.
Okay.
Another beautiful day in paradise. Today we're gonna rent some 4-wheelers.
The island is small, the streets are narrow, and pretty much everyone there rents 4-wheelers.
Yes.
Or some sort of, you know,
transportation,
small, like moped to get around. It was the best investment we could have made, so we took that thing everywhere. You know, going from even Imrovigli to Ia was about 70 kilometers, I think. And so we'll double check that, but it was quite a distance, so we had to drive there, but you know, we were able to just hop on our 4-wheeler and hit the road.
And the thing is, the other option, there are some people, tourists on Santorini, they'll hop on the bus and take the bus there, but for us, the 4-wheeler was great because we can go whenever we were ready. We didn't have to wait at any stops. We can go at our own pace, and it's very easy. These things zip up and down through the island, and don't feel intimidated by that. Very important that we say this. Do not feel intimidated to get the 4-wheeler. Tons of tourists were on these 4-wheelers or motorcycles or mopeds or whatever. Tons and tons of locals and tourists alike. You're just zipping around and getting everywhere you needed to go. And it's very difficult to get lost because there's really one main road that runs as a main vein throughout the island. And once you find that main road, you're gonna get anywhere you wanna get to very easily. And we took it everywhere.
Yes.
For everything, to the beach, to eat.
Wine tasting.
Sometimes to just go out and explore. it was, you know, an extension of ourselves.
The restaurants, the food, everything that we had there, we couldn't complain, right? We tried talking about like, okay, what restaurants do we want to mention that really stood out? And it was hard because we actually couldn't think of a bad meal. But two restaurants that we highly recommend were both in Imrovigli. The first one was Avocado.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So we actually went there a couple times, and we don't typically like to repeat restaurants just because we try to get like a feel of, you know, the whole culture, try different things wherever we're at. But we had to return there because it was just so good.
The second restaurant that we want to give a shout out to, which blew our socks off, just rocked our whole world, was the Athenian House.
Yeah.
Please, if you're anywhere in and around Imrovigli, go to the Athenian House.
Yes.
It's reservation required. We saw people try and show up there without a reservation. They were turned away. It is definitely more formal.
Yeah.
So dress the part when you go. Great evening spot. The food was a 10 out of 10. The service was a 10 out of 10. And the view goes without say.
Yeah, so where we were sitting, it was, you know, they have like a patio area and it was just open space. There was no roof and it was summertime and it was just beautiful. You saw all the lights on the island and everything.
Yes.
So another must do that you have to do when you go to Santorini is have a beach day. They have black beaches, they have red beaches.
Have a couple beach days.
Yeah, we actually wish that we would have spent more time at the beach. We like found some chairs on the beach right there.
Kamari Beach.
Black sand.
The beach of black sands.
There's a black sand beach and they just brought the drinks out to us. It was so relaxing. You could get right in the water, not too cold. Great time. So definitely make that one of your must-dos.
Yeah, and I know it seems obvious. You guys were in Santorini. Why didn't you spend more time at the beach? But you'd be surprised at how amazing it is just to sit on your balcony and enjoy the view together, and you know, swim in the pool or explore the island because there's a lot to see. There's even museums there. Go from town to town, eat and then eat again and then eat some more. You'd be surprised. And so for us, we did make it to the beach, but we did find it kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Bringing us to the next point, which is you have to catch a Santorini sunset. You have to just stop what you're doing when the sun's going down, find that spot and sit down and enjoy the sunset.
Yes.
If you're like us, make sure you have a nice glass of wine with you. They have amazing sunsets.
Right.
And you know, rumor has it that Ia has the best sunsets ever. You have to go to Ia. And we actually found that just sitting out on our balcony, our sunset was phenomenal.
It was the best, and this is both a must-do and a thing to be aware of. If you're going to go to Ia to get the quote best sunset in Santorini, be prepared to be battling for a spot to get that sunset. The crowds gather there at that time, and you're going to be pushing and shoving to find a place to enjoy the sunset. We recommend, this is a hidden gem now, okay? We recommend get a great hotel. It could be in Fira, could be Imrovigli, could be Ia. Watch the sunset from your balcony.
Yes.
It is equally, in fact, we liked it better just because it's intimate. We would share a glass of wine, lay back in the peace and solitude of our hotel room and enjoy the sunset. Better than any of those crowds were, in Ia.
And that's actually what most of the people at our hotel ended up doing. So like I said, it was only 9 rooms, it was small, but we met the other guests and every night we just saw them out on their balconies, you know, and it was just really great way to bring the day to a close. So the next must do then is
Amudi Bay.
Oh, yes.
Make a trip to Amudi Bay. Yes, that is in Ia. So no matter what town you're staying in, venture to Ia to see Amudi Bay. And if you're not familiar with Amudi Bay, if you've watched any film or television,
Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants shows shots that are taken there.
There you go. So it's a very famous area.
After trekking through the busy streets of Ia, we actually went down there and had a really nice, quiet lunch. Literally, our table, it looked like it was going to fall into the water. So you're literally right on the edge.
The edge of the bay.
And it was just really nice and, a way to sit down and absorb everything we just experienced.
Mm-hmm.
So when down there, okay, you will see squid, octopuses, octopi. You will see the octopi drying out. Okay, they do sun-dried octopus there, and I was like turned off completely by the idea. He was like, we're getting it, and I'm like, I don't really care for things that are squishy like that, but we ended up getting it anyway, and I do not regret it.
All right, what are you about to try?
Sun-dried octopus.
Oh, there's a sun-dried octopus. Slide it over in the sun real quick. Yeah, there we go. All right, taste test. Let's go. Texture, taste.
Flavor, very good.
Very good flavor.
Not as squishy as I thought.
Not too squishy. All right. It's pretty authentic. That's pretty good, honey. Well done.
And I think they said they sun-dry it for 2 days.
Something like that, yeah.
And so it's not gooey or disgusting. It's actually very meaty and hearty and very well flavored.
Take it from a person who was disgusted by the idea of it. The next must-do is
yogurt and honey. Go to Greece, enjoy some great yogurt, some great honey.
Which, there, it's not
Greek yogurt.
Greek yogurt, they just call it yogurt.
Yogurt.
So it's still tangy like we have here in America, but the consistency's a little thicker, so it was definitely a treat.
Yes.
You gotta have it. And our last must-do.
Yeah, wine tasting.
Yay!
We always love a great excuse for wine tasting.
Yeah, it's a Monday, whatever.
Yeah.
The wine tasting. They have quite a few wineries on the island, and interesting thing when you see the vineyards, they're not vertical like we experience here in California. We're really close to the Napa Valley, so we're pretty familiar with that. Their vineyards are actually more spiral and close to the ground. They look kind of like little bushes on the ground. But there are a lot of wineries that you can go tasting at.
We chose Santos Wines. I think it's probably the most popular one on the island, and we were recommended that one by several people, both tourists and locals alike. They do great flights when you're there. Beautiful view of the caldera, gorgeous. We just kicked our feet up, sampled some wines, and enjoyed a beautiful sunny day.
We've mentioned the view quite a few times, and just know that nowhere in Santorini, on Santorini, are you gonna have a bad view.
Right.
There's the caldera side where literally every restaurant, every store, anywhere we stopped, you would look out and see this beautiful view. Just beautiful wherever you go. So I don't think we've said the word beautiful enough.
No, I think we got I think we're underselling it.
Just a few things that you want to be aware of when you go to Santorini. We always like to include the things that surprise us in a positive way, but also a negative way, just so that, you're not as shocked as we were. It is not wheelchair or stroller friendly at all. There are tons and tons of stairs everywhere you go. So just be mindful of that. If you're going, just realize that the island is not flat.
All right, baby, you're walking down to a moody bay.
Yeah.
Careful for the donkey dung.
Lots of donkey dung.
Yep, you gotta watch for landmines. But it's a heck of a walk. That's for sure. It's a long way down.
This is the path that most people will ride a donkey back up.
Yes.
Given the vast amount of stairs.
Yep.
You can see that's why there's so much donkey dung.
Watch those piles, baby.
Okay.
It's obscene, in fact. If you have a trip planned to Santorini within the next 6 months to a year, you have time to get your fitness game in order, because it will put you to the test, especially if you're there during the summer when it's hot.
Yeah.
Those stairs are no joke.
And there's really no shade.
There's not a lot of shade on the island, so there are options to get around it. Obviously, if you're in a moody bay, they do provide the donkeys that you can take up to the top. They call those the island taxis.
Which is kind of
It's controversial for some, not for me at all. Whatever. I'm not the most politically correct person all the time. But make sure you have your fitness game in order. You're gonna need it. Going up and down those stairs can be taxing, but always rewarding when you reach your destination.
Yeah. So usually our things to be aware of section is more of a negative spin, but we really didn't have a whole lot of negative things to say. So another thing just to be aware of, but in a good way, is just how friendly the people are that live there. Everyone that we came across, you know, they were very accommodating and just always presented you with a smile. The customer service was great. A lot of the people that work on Santorini actually live in the mainland and come to Santorini during the tourist season to work. But everyone really goes above and beyond to make you feel welcome, and we really enjoyed the people there. So
and another thing, you know, yamas.
Yamas.
The word yamas is the Greek word for cheers, and you're probably using that a lot.
Yeah.
So equip yourself with at least that if you don't know any Greek.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to do it for our review of Santorini. As always, we hope that we're able to provide some tips to make your trip a little bit easier or more enjoyable, and hopefully provide you with some information that'll help you avoid some pitfalls. If you're interested in seeing the actual video of our trip to Santorini, click on the link that'll be up in a few seconds. And if you like what you've heard and it's been very helpful, push the like button.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, or both. We love both of them.
And turn on your notifications.
And click the little bell for notifications, exactly. Don't forget, traveling is not just about the destination, but of course, who you share it with.
Yes. So make sure you get out there, make it happen.
And have fun.
All right, see you next time.
Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. We actually got through the whole thing without the baby waking up.